titled Speed Code Number 2, Array Madness. In this one, you are given two integer arrays, A and B, both of length greater than or equal to 1. You are to create a program that returns true if the sum of the squares of each element in A is strictly greater than the sum of the cubes of each element in array B. They have an example below where the A array has 4, 5, and 6, so you could square those values and add them, 16 plus 25 plus 36. And that's compared against cubing the values of 1, 2, and 3. And that should return true, they noted, because if you run the mathematical operations on that, the first one comes out to a greater sum. So go ahead, pause the video and knock this one out. We have seen some methods that can make your life very easy here. Feel free to use those and consult the docs page as necessary. And then I'll go into a solution. I'm going to use some link methods. We know that our integer arrays are enumerable. And so do you remember that method we've used? It's been a little while, but it can basically transform the elements of your sequence into some other value. That was the enumerable select method. Projects each element of a sequence into a new form, and the result they had, I think, even dealt with squares. If I remember right, there was one in here. Yeah, check this one out. So they just made a range of the numbers from 1 to 10, then they used select to transform all those into their squares, and you see these are the squares printed out below. 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared. So yeah, this is pretty good. We have one case where we have to square numbers, and another case where we will cube them. And we can use these kind of lambda functions to do that. So, I suppose while we're here, we can note that there's also, for enumerables, a sum method that will go ahead and sum all of the values in a collection. So basically, once we run that select statement, we get our new collection of squared values or cubed values. Then we can call sum on that to go ahead and add all those up. So let's do that. First, let's transform our array values into something else. Note that I'm not actually transforming A itself, but it will create a new collection as a result. I'll use n, that's a good variable name for an integer. And I'll go n by n here. You could use math power, which we've also learned in the system library. You could use math.pow and say n, 2 if you wanted. I think that should be fine. And so remember that this will make a new collection of values that are squares. And then it said to sum those, right? So we know we have a sum function. So this will sum all the squares, good. Now it said strictly greater than, right? So we're not going to do greater than or equals. We're going to use just the greater than sign. And then do the same kind of thing with b, right? Except this time, for our lambda, we want to cube it, right? N by n by n. And again, you could go math.pow n, 3 if you want to cube n using the math class's power function. I think that should be fine too. And then again, let's take a sum to add up all those values for us. And then I think I can just return that. Nice compact one-liner there that I think is very readable. So that's a win if it works. Looks good, yeah, green. We hit, oh, I think I went right for the attempt, which is fine. Good deal. Yeah, I'll go ahead and submit. I imagine we're going to see a lot of this kind of thing going on. Makes me feel like we missed speed code number 1. Not really crazy about the ordering of these. But yeah, you can see they kind of did the same thing. Okay, so yeah, another way to look at it, you could sum first, where instead you're passing the lambda to the sum function. So the sum's going to get each element of A one at a time. And then as you grab those, you can square them at that point. That's good. Yeah. That's probably better than what I did. Select. Yeah. I'd kind of called two methods, so that's probably better. Sum, yeah, they did the same thing as the first example. Here you can see they did it with math power. So yeah, I like those ones a little bit better. Cool. Yeah, I hope this was helpful. Hit me up as usual. Otherwise, we'll move on. Thanks.